living nightmares. Peyote solidities of walls, green trees, cemetery dawns, white drunkenness over the rooftops, storefront burrows, a tea-head, joyride, neon blinking, traffic light, sun, the moon and tree vibrations in the roaring winter dusks. Who talk continuously 70 hours from park to pad to bar to Bellevue to museum to the Brooklyn Bridge, a lost battalion of platonic conversationalists jumping down the stoops, off fire escapes, off windowsills, off the Empire State, out of the moon. Yakety-yakketing, screaming, vomiting, whispering facts and memories and anecdotes and eyeball kicks and shocks of hospitals and jails and wars, who loaned it through the streets of Idaho seeking visionary Indian angels, who were visionary Indian angels, who howled on their knees in the subway and were dragged off the roof waving genitals and manuscripts, who wandered around and around at midnight in the railroad yard wondering where to go and went leaving no broken hearts, who lit cigarettes in boxcars, racketing through snow toward lonesome farms and grandfather night, and rose, reincarnate in the ghostly clothes of jazz and the gold horn shadow of the band. Carl Sullivan, I'm with you in Rockland, where you're madder than I am. I'm with you in Rockland, where we wake up electrified out of the coma by our own souls. Airplanes roaring over the roof, they've come to drop angelic bombs. The hospital illuminates itself. Imaginary walls collapse. Oh, skinny legions run outside. Oh, starry-spangled shock of mercy. The eternal war is here. Oh, victory! Forget your underwear! We're free! I'm with you in Rockland. In my dreams, you walk dripping from a sea journey on the highway across America in tears to the door of my cottage in the western night.
The poem had an immense effect on me, and I felt immediately that Ginsberg was, at the least, a major poet, maybe a genius.
I had no idea that it would be famous. No idea that it was of such value to other people. Apparently it was.
I just had never read any poetry that was that charged, that intense, that extraordinary, and I knew he was going to make a revolution in the consciousness of his time.
So the Sixth Gallery's still there. It's just in a different place.
Once a month, we will book a comedian who will offend everybody.
There are words that offend me. Let's see, Governor Farvis, segregation offend me. Nighttime television offends me, some nighttime television.
Both rabbis and priests, S-H-I-T. Only one F-U-C-Ks.
Are you what is loosely called a beatnik?
No, I'm a poet and a painter and sculptor.
In other words, you're out of work?
That's right.
Come to be healed, come to be saved, screaming and laughing down the beach, strangling each other, devouring flesh and gnawing on fingers broken and bones of splintered. Voices heard in Venice.
They're dirty. They never clean up, and then their mode of living is with their free love and their free meals and their free paths, they call them.
You have sometimes done it as if you always knew how it was properly done. And you knew it was there, and you knew that you were there, and you would have done it better in a way than anybody in a long time.
Don't you ever feel tempted to occasionally write for money instead of just writing for the muse?
Well, sometimes I write home to my father. He sends me some money.
Dear Ellen, there's an end-of-the-world feeling in Tangier with his glut of nylon shirts, Swiss watches, Scotch, and sex. The whole town is a trap. You will see it closing, but there will be no escape, no place to go.
The wayward wind is a restless wind.
These are the San Francisco shipyards at China Basin. Jack Kerouac worked near here in the railroad switching yards, and Allen Ginsberg came nearby here to write his famous Sunflower Sutra. The Beats didn't just continually travel on the road. Those who could boarded freighters like American Kestrel down there to head out on the open ocean and give in to their wanderlust internationally.
In a lonely shack by a railroad track, he spent
Dear
his
Ellen,
younger days.
Mexico is home to me, and I can't go there.
Made him a slave to his wandering ways.
Got a letter from my lawyer. I am sentenced in absentia.
Is a restless wind, a restless wind.
I think she said to Bill, shoot that off my head.
I knew that the ugly spirit, which is always the worst part of everyone's character, would take over and that something awful would happen. Just an absolute piece of insanity.
It was then that he began writing.
Who are you?
I'm Bill. Who are you?
I'm Tony. Where are you, Bill?
In a 1920 movie, Tony.
Who are you? I'm Tony. Who are you? I'm Bill.
I was born February 5, 1914 in St. Louis, Missouri. So I was sort of a WASP washout.
We will not listen to you. We have had enough of your con and bullshit.
I left the United States because of some trouble. My whole life has been resistance to the ugly spirit. Live with it day and night. Not anticipating any trouble, because I don't like violence.
There is no thing to fear. There is no thing.
He's probably the only guy I know who was really just full-out junkie, who managed to come back, kick it in the store. Very rare.
There's all kinds of addictions. Power is one of the principal addictions. When they got the power, they look sleek, satisfied. They're getting it steady. Thou shalt not blow pot smoke into the face of thy cat.
He could punch a typewriter or he could punch a tape recorder to death in shorter time than any man that I've ever known. He had such enormous energy in those days and such enormous intention behind what he was doing.
Take the enclosed copy of this letter, cut along the lines, rearrange, putting section 1 by section 3 and section 2 by section 4. Now you will hear my voice. Brian had made these cut-ups of various magazines. First cut-ups were very, very funny. Then it wasn't so funny anymore. Life is a cut-up. Every time you look out the window, and when you walk down the street, continually being caught by random factors. This is a fact of human perception, and the cut-up simply made this explicit. How does it seem to you now? How does it seem to you now? Thank you. Good. Look at that. Thank you.
Surrealism is a kind of automatic writing. Rimbaud's phrase was a systematic derangement of the senses, and the idea being that the senses are to some extent ideological, formed by external pressures.
Cowards, open fire!
And so you shatter that, break it up. Drugs, extreme experiences, kinky sex.
In fact, the official definition of surrealism is to make a work without any a priori moral or aesthetic considerations.
Blast of trumpets. The man wriggles. His flesh turns to viscid, transparent jelly that drifts away in green mist, unveiling a monster black centipede. Waves of unknown stench fill the room, searing the lungs, grabbing the stomach.
Over a series of years, from 53 to 57, Burroughs sent me the letters with all the chapters or routines of Naked Lunch. And then by 57, there was so much material that I had and he had that it was time for me to leave San Francisco and work on it with him to shape it into a book. Kerouac had started the typing. We arrived with all this new material, shuffled it around, typed it up.
We had about 500 pages of notes. So Brian Garson, Sinclair Bayliss, I sat down and assembled this. The chapter went to the printer. We said we'll figure out the order later, but when it came back from the printer, we took one look and said there's no necessity to make any changes.
Burroughs said, I'm not American Express. If the reader's ass is taken from Tangier to Paris in one jump, he'll have to get there himself.
You want to be cool, you got to read, you know, Naked Lunch, you know, because, you know, that's a cool book. They made a movie out of it.
They put it on trial.
It's about drugs.
There's certain requirements. If someone can't stand hours, years of solitude, sitting in a chair alone in a room, he should look for another trade, I think.
I tried to read Naked Lunch. I read halfway through it, and I pitched it. It didn't make much sense to me. It just sort of disgusted me.
Thou shalt not be such a shit you don't know you are one.
Mr. Burroughs, do you regret anything in your life?
I have no precise memory of writing the notes which have been published under the title Naked Lunch. The title was suggested by Jack Kerouac. The title means exactly what the words say, Naked Lunch, a frozen moment when everyone sees what is on the end of every fork. I can feel the heat closing in. I feel them out there making their moves, setting up their devil doll stool pigeons, crooning over my spoon and dropper I throw away at Washington Square Station. Volta Turnstile, 2 flights down the iron stairs, catch an uptown A train. Young, good-looking, crew-cut, Ivy League advertising type fruit pulls the door back